Okay, this is Tripod Smartphone 101. So we've got a number of styles of tripods. For the most part, they're similar but not the same. Let's talk about this one because it's the most basic first. Smartphone holder, this threads up and down to create space for our smartphone to go in. So this is the threaded kind. As I thread it counterclockwise, the opening gets larger, and then I'll thread it down to tighten up on my phone. We also have a spring-loaded kind, which is like this. They're both about the $10 version. The 7 Plus barely fits, but it should fit. Okay, so that is how we mount our phone, right, with the viewfinder towards us. No problem. It would be dumb to mount it the other way, but I've done it. Like so, then this thing is in the way. The bottom right here. This is 1/4-20 threads. That means a 1/4 inch diameter for the shaft, 20 threads per inch. It's super common. It's industry standard for tripod mounts. So on the base plate of this one, which is a little bit different style, we've got a 1/4-20 stud sticking out of there. And we're going to thread it into that base and tighten it up by hand. There's usually a flat opening there, and thumbnail works for the most part to tighten it. And I'll rotate this so it's perpendicular. There's an arrow on these base plates on the bottom that says lens right there. You picking it up? Is it focusing?
Yeah.
Okay. So that lens is going to go forward. There's another arrow on the base plate right here that would match. Now, unfortunately, there are 2 types of base plates with the tripods we have. So this is the older style, I guess is how I would describe it. Most of the time they'll be matched up. This little red detent right here, when I push this in, it'll push the button in right here. And then you'll hear a click. And that locks it in so it can't slide off there. But we still want to lock it at a point of balance, and that's this knob over here. So this knob will lock against the rail so it can't slide. Now it can, now it can't, okay? I've got this one in place. This one right here, a little bit different. It just threads right into the base, and it's kind of integral to the tripod. I like these best because they don't get lost. We don't lose base plates. But you can see that. How this works, we push this up, thread it into the bottom, and then there's a larger one on here that we counter thread to like final tighten it like that once we've got enough threads in there, okay? All right, so back up a little bit more. We're going to go over 2 more things on this video. That's just how to install a smartphone mount. Yesterday I talked about this rubber band thing. So there's a few more controls on the tripod that we're going to go over. The first one would be the tilt control. There's a knob on the left-hand side. Right now it's pretty much loose. If I tighten it, it won't allow tilt. Okay, loosen it, it'll allow for tilt. There's also a pan control knob right here, which controls the friction of the pan, or we can lock it out so it can't twist counterclockwise here. And now I've got pan control. Okay. Similar but not the same on this one. Here's my tilt control knob right here. Tilt. Okay. These aren't spring loaded. Some of them are spring loaded, so they'll kind of come back to center. This one might be. Yeah. It wants to come back to center. So you could use that, like if you let it go from here, it'll have a consistent rate of tilt back to center. It's not coming all the way back up. And the pan control, in this case, is just right down the center here. Okay. 2 more to know about. One is the telescoping head. So if we loosen this right here, this will telescope up or down. Normally we'd have to have this all the way up and the legs fully extended to get a 6-foot person eye level. So in order to do that, I'm going to unlock these clips here, let those slide all the way out, then lock them back in. And there are detents up here that keep the legs, they will lock the leg out to a certain position like this, okay? So I'd hit all 3 of those, and now I'm set. Now this one's a little bit higher. It's just a taller tripod than that one will fully extend. So I'd come down to like eye level. We talked a little bit yesterday about representing people. The last one, maybe that was it. Telescoping head, and we just looked at the legs and how they adjust. I can show you this too. If you pull the leg in and pull this silver tab down, you can swing, oops, sorry Cheyenne, you can swing these legs all the way out. So if you had to do something crazy like this to get it to stabilize, you could. And you could gap like seats in a bleacher, or you can do all kinds of stuff. But if you watch this come back in, Andrew, it'll click and lock in place in a number of places, so it can lock out any one of those. But the first one is usually the one people use because it'll just get it square and level. Okay, the last thing I should show you is the whole tripod thing, not tripod, rubber band thing. So on my wrist, if I want to pan smoothly, I can do this, and that'll give me a little bit more freedom of, a little bit more forgiveness as I pan. I can tighten that up a little bit. And now when I pull that, you can see that I've got this range of motion, but it'll give me a really smooth pan, so it looks professional. Rather than if I try and do it by hand, it's just really hard to keep a consistent rate. It'll jump. It's just obvious. Okay, see. Thank you.